Hi there, good morning. No, we just turned to the afternoon now. So it says, oh, now we're live. So 12:08 Pacific Standard Time, and it's been a beat or two. And my guides literally, this morning it was like, not a huge nudge, not like a shove, but like, oh, maybe you should do this. And then my husband went out for a walk, and so the house is empty. So here I am on a pre-Christmas, I guess. I don't know what to call this. We'll see what happens. I've had so many things going on. I don't know about you guys. The energies have been sucky for me physically as my body's accommodating everything, integrating all the energies. I don't know about you, but some days have been challenging physically, not emotionally or mentally so much, just physically. But we've had our challenges in the house. It's like how many things can go wrong? Let me count the ways. But handled it all like, okay. My husband had the oil changed in his car and it leaked. And then they took it back and fixed it, and it's still leaking. Our washing machine was leaking, couldn't be fixed, so we had to buy a new washing machine. Uh, Mind you, we got it at the beginning of 2008, so it had done us extremely well. The new one's brilliant, much quieter. Toilet. The toilet's leaking. My car, the side mirror fell off. Not the whole mirror, just not the whole component, just the mirror fell off. So I gerrymandered with double-sided tape, a mirror from the dollar store, a round mirror from the dollar store, and then we ordered one from Amazon for $35. So, things just have a way of being okay. That I could gerrymander, that, yeah, you could get this part for $35 on Amazon, and it just literally plug and play, and so the mirror's back on. The gentleman, the PG Performance, wonderful, wonderful people. They came and picked up my husband's car. The owner came, picked up the car, and took it back in, brought it back, took it in, left his car, his very souped up car, with us. Because that's what they do, as well as doing repairs and stuff on high-end Audis and VWs. They sell components across Canada to soup up cars for those men that like a souped up car. So if you want your wheels spaced out wider, if you want it to sound bigger, I don't know all the ins and outs of it because that stuff just doesn't interest me so much. So I think and when the washing machine leaked, it also created um, a leak in the den of the ceiling den, which my husband noticed. So now, when did you know they've changed paint formulas? So that even if you color match the paint, it won't match exactly because the formula is different. So the light will read it differently. So we had an old can of ceiling paint that we'd used before, and I took it to Cloverdale and they shook it again. And it's not something it's been, since 2007, that paint's been sitting there. They said, we don't know, we'll shake it. And then they shook it and went, oh, it's good to go. So that was way back for the other leak. So this time I'm thinking, what am I going to do? My husband goes, oh, it's okay, I'll just shake it. And I looked and I went, that's not okay. So I'm thinking, well, I could use a mixer, the hand mixer, and mix it. And I thought, do I really want to do that with my mixer? Which isn't an expensive one, but nonetheless. So I'm walking in Salvation Army, and there's a Black & Decker, an old Black & Decker mixer sitting on the shelves for $7.99. And I went, yep, that's mine. So that's what I did. I poured half the paint into a cheap plastic garbage bin and mixed it up with these, and it seems to have worked. So we shall see. We shall see. We may have to put some Killex, that stuff you put on the stain so it doesn't bleed through, because I think my husband didn't do that, and I think that's an issue. Anyway, neither here nor there. Well, I guess it is if you're into this kind of stuff. Hint, tip. So those are the tips. the other tip, I really want to do a shout out to Wild Pier, which is a company in Nova Scotia owned by a young woman who does exfoliating gloves made from natural um, materials from the ocean. Geez, you think I would know this better? I don't. And I ordered a white glove from her, a long while back. And then I saw that she's now doing a black glove, which is for sensitive skin. Well, the black gloves, so what you do is just rub your skin in, and then dead skin comes off. On the white glove, it's not so apparent. You can sometimes you can feel it on your legs or on your butt, wherever. The skin worms, they call it. At just a good explanation of it. But with the black glove, it's entirely apparent what's going on because you can see it on the glove. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So your skin's soft. You'd be amazed what comes off. So then I started thinking, well, if you've got scars, right? The body, the skin's one of the organs that renews itself quickly, right? Really quickly. That's why you can see it healing. But why are the scars still visible? Well, maybe because the skin's not been sloughed off properly. I think that's a reason. So now I do have a scar from a cut on my leg that I got in the woods and had to have stitches, and it didn't heal perfectly because the stitches didn't hold perfectly. So I'm using it on that, and it will fade the scar away. We shall see. Anyway, I do know my skin is smoother and lots of dead skin's coming off. And then you see this. Felt the need to get my hair cut. Had to get it cut shorter. I'd already cut it a couple of months ago and had this many inches cut off and this many. And then I went back and I said, Jenny, it's just I want it shorter. So she took me shorter. And I quite like it. It's very easy. And I didn't even brush it this morning. I just kind of run my fingers through it. So there's all my news. Got my Christmas tree up. So let me see if I can show you the Christmas tree. We're going to swing this around, turn the camera down a bit, and there's my fuzzy Christmas tree because I've got a filter on to blur out the background here, but there's my Christmas tree. And my new grandson was down last weekend with the tree up, and I'm like, oh, well, how's this going to go? He was brilliant. He just touches things, and he's 15 months old, and he points and goes, oh, oh. And so we tell him what it is, and he's so gentle, so very gentle. It's just absolutely stunning to see how good he is with that. So they were down. He's such a happy little camper most of the time, and when he isn't, then it goes from 0 to 60 like in a hot second. And then it can be turned off. And it's really interesting to watch him as he navigates the world, and he navigates what's going on, and he navigates his emotions and his desires for things that don't get fulfilled right away, and how easily he's willing to pivot too. And he actually listens, even though his language, like he's not really got the language skills. He listens, and he takes it in. And I've said things to him, and it's like his little mind goes, "Oh, okay," and then off he toddles again. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. And um, my son and his partner are brilliant parents, as are my other son and his wife. So I got two brilliant grandchildren, and my granddaughter in Ontario is a basketball player. She loves basketball. Doesn't enjoy it, loves it. I said, "You're going to be in the Olympics one day," and she nods her head, and she said, "Yeah, I am." So I can't wait for that. That is that. So when all this stuff going on and answers appearing exactly when I need them, um, it's okay. Like things you just trust that the universe just shows you something, will provide for you in whatever you need if you're not too attached to the outcomes. So, out in the world, oop, crystal. Out in the world, how attached are you to the outcomes? I just went a bit of a deep dive into bitumen and Alberta tar sands, and where does it go, and what's the market, and why is all of that. And like, I just found out so much information. I'm like, that's interesting. So many of us, myself included, you can reach a conclusion without knowing all of the facts. So I know quite a lot of facts now, and I don't know that I've reached any sort of conclusion on it other than no, we don't want that heavy crude bitumen being shipped to Asia because it's not good for the environment. It's not if there's a spill, it's not good. It's not like oil. Bitumen is not that light crude oil, light oil. So it gets shipped heavy to Asia because there's a market there. They want that heavy crude oil. And they have the refineries to refine it. So, yeah, Alberta wants their money. Can't blame them. Cannot blame them at all. And so, if you consider all the complexities of things when you're pointing fingers at federal governments, at prime ministers, finance ministers, at presidents, at let's forget the president down south because he's a entity unto himself. Jeez. Premiers, they're all doing the best that they can, and they're all playing their part. Thank you. So here we go, guys. They're all playing their part in the world, in your communities, on the world stage, on a country stage, on the provincial stage, to elicit change for the populace. And so the energies of the populace are driving the change. And sometimes the energies are real mixed bag. And so the highest energy wins out. Always the highest energy wins out. But it also has to be that kind of tipping point with enough people believing that something is possible. Obama said, there may not be a perfect answer, but there's always a better answer. And so when people believe to the depth of their being that there is a better answer, that it's not hopeless. And just because what's in front of you doesn't have a perfect answer, there is a better answer often being proposed. And because of people deciding that they're right, that they're left, that they're middle, whatever you call it, they're unwilling to accept that this could be the better answer. And that's a decision that, is made through the voice of the people, for the people. So your voice matters and your energies matter. So you may not be someone that signs petitions or writes emails, so though they can be incredibly effective because if they get enough, and you think enough is like 1 million, it's not. Enough could be 1,000. Enough could be enough for them to heads up, guys, we're watching, this issue is important to us. So maybe it's not 1,000, maybe it's 5,000, but there's a number there where they pay attention and realize that they have to find a better answer. Okay, do you understand that? Because it's like in a family, say in a family. So if one person's complaining, it's like, so what? But if everyone has the same complaint, the same concern, then whoever is the decision making, Harrisburg, or not, in companies, in corporate world, exactly, enough people speak up, consumers speak up, and they can change things. But it doesn't change if you don't do anything, if you do same old, same old. So you get to choose, and you won't likely always see the change you want to see. But know that it is helping to create the change for the greater good for everyone. That's how it works. So you do you in the best way possible, and um, don't force your opinion, your being on other people. You can offer them information, you can offer them their point of view, but there's no sense in getting into a fight over it. There's no sense of being upset over it because they're doing them, right? So you do you, they do them, and it all washes it all washes out. So you could, through your energies, change a situation simply by um, sitting and meditating, going out for a walk, dancing, enough to raise your energy so that the situation that has created a little bit of in me um, doesn't do that anymore. You're like, oh, it doesn't really matter so much, right? Doesn't matter so much anymore. And in that releasing of that, you have created the energies in the environment for it to change out there. So it's all, the work is always with you, with me, with you. Always. You change you, the world changes. That's how it goes. And we are in midst of a massive change around the globe. Every single country has a population that has something, and then some of the countries are like the U.S., like China, like India, Russia, Ukraine, are experiencing huge changes as populations are going through whatever they're going through. And we don't know all the ins and outs of it. So it is changing. And what's the tipping point? I don't know. I don't know what the tipping point is. But I'm an optimist, always have been. And I've been an optimist my whole life. Since I was a little girl. That's me, an optimist. You'd find my name underneath that description in the dictionary. Always been since I was a wee one. I always think the best of people. And I always think that things will turn out, even when it's shitty. And I've been in situations where that's been challenged, where I've been challenged in that belief. But when I look back on it, it was good. I was safe. I was always being protected. And maybe that's the feeling I had of always being protected. So there we have countries around the globe that are being challenged in their democracy, in the will of the people, in human rights, which is part of, I guess, of democracy. So here we are. And I vaguely remember doing a reading on this about how Canada's part in it and how the torch would be passed to the different EU countries. And now when I think I look at the U.S. and some of the people in the people that speak out, some of the influences of the U.S., like Musk, like J.D. Vance, and Trump, are not very, they think that the EU should be separate countries and maintain their identities. As if there were their Italian identities, their Spanish identities, their French identities, right? So it shouldn't be part of the EU. And why would that be? What they're actually saying is stay white, right? Stay white. And what they're actually saying is don't be part of the EU because there is strength in Europe with the EU. Do you understand that? There's strength when they are combined together and agree on some basic principles. And that's what the EU is right now. And the US doesn't like that because the EU has come together saying, well, we can't count on the US to protect us anymore, so we have to do something about that. And Canada is in the same position. So You are not a valued or a trustworthy partner at this moment in time. And so we have to do this for ourselves. We are not stupid, though you may think we are. And you are not the be all and end all, as you may think you are. And yes, you carry a mighty big hammer, but we got lots of little hammers. Yeah, we've got lots of little hammers. So, can you imagine all that tension out there? And that's what often you are feeling. That's what the planet is feeling, is absorbed, is trying to clear and integrate, and we are integrating that in our body. And then you've got the solar flares coming in as well, the Schumann resonance, which affects us, all these full moons, all these different planetary things going on all at the same time, and it's all to push and say this way, this way, this way, because this is our moment in time. Now, you can believe it or not, and if you don't, that's fine. And if you don't believe it, just go on your merry way and be kind to people. Be extra kind. Don't, no, just be yourself. Be yourself, because yourself underneath that is kind and loving. And if you don't feel the need to engage in politics or engage, that's fine, because we need everyone to just be themselves. And if yourself is creating a beautiful family and raising beautiful children, if yourself is being with friends and making them laugh, if yourself is going out in nature and being so enthralled and in gratitude for it, oh, and she loves that. She loves that so very much. All the beings on her, all the trees, they do. So do that. You see where I'm going with that? You want to paint and create? Do that. Do it for you. You don't need to do it for anyone else. So I think I've kind of brought this around. I don't know, have I? So here we are, and if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask. Though no one's watching right now. No. Oh well. And on I go, because I'm doing this for me. So I'm going to pull some cards, and I'm going to see what shows up and what they have to say from these cards. I've got 2 decks. I'm going to start with the soul lessons, because that's where we are. Humanity as a whole, soul lessons. So maybe I should learn how to shuffle cards better. What do you think? I watch other people, and then I'll turn the thing down. So, number 1. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Oh, they just love me using these cards. I don't know why. Can you see these cards? Whoop. There you go. Anyway, number 1. Burst out of your cocoon. So, imagine you've been living in a bit of a fog. Imagine you feel like you're not quite present with life. Imagine that it's easier just to kind of retreat a little bit, and not be fully present, not allow yourself to be affected by everything out there. Understandable. So there's this delicate balance. Thank you. There's this delicate balance we're all doing, is to be present, be aware, and yet not be affected by it. Not to feel like, oh, it's too much. As for me, it's be when I've been out, I can feel it sometimes when I'm in a mall or something. It's like the energies are so, I said to my friend, funky. The energies are funky in here. And I can feel it. I get a little dizzy with it. And not horrible enough for me to leave, but certainly gets my attention. So I'm telling you this because with this card, bust out of your cocoon, perhaps you are in that cocoon to protect yourself from that. I get that. But when you do that and you're shutting down your awareness, you're also shutting down the awareness that says go to the Salvation Army, and on that shelf there's a Black and Decker mixer for you, hand blender for you to do what you want to do. Like, I didn't tell anyone that. I just was thinking it. When you cut off your awareness, you don't think to Google um, mirrors for a VW 2015 Tiguan side driver mirror and realize it's on Amazon for way less than a dealership sells it for. Or my repair guy who said, no, I can't give it to you. They wanted 150. Can you imagine? So it's an aftermarket piece. But anyway, all I'm saying, when your awareness is shut down as you're trying to not feel that so much, then you're cutting off your awareness to other stuff that would bring ease in your life, that would make everything flow easier. So burst out of that cocoon. Let there be some ease in your life. And when you notice the energies, just notice them. It's not good or bad. It's just energies. Your body's like, whoa, I'm in a mall, for crying out loud. That would do it. My body's like, whoa, that's a lot of energies happening around here. So when I said to my friend, it's funky, I guess because it's just a mixed bag of energy. Like, so I didn't stop to, determine, is it 10% anger and 20% fear and, 50%. I didn't stop to ask those questions, though I could have. I just said it's funky in here. And my body was like just noticing all the mixed bag of energies in there. That doesn't mean it's good or bad. If it was bad, if it was an overwhelmingly negative energy, then I would have turned and walked out, because I would allow that in my awareness. Like, yeah, so that could be in any situation when it's like hits you like a hammer and you're like, I don't like the way this feels, then retreat. It could be, it's most likely the universe saying, get out of this situation, get out of the whatever you are in, move away from that, go outside, um, go a different way, don't drive that way, drive this way. So those, when you cocoon yourself so much, you don't get those awarenesses. You ignore it, you don't pay attention to it, you ignore it because it's safer not to feel it. So how about you create, allow yourself to feel that, ask some questions around it, and then when you do that, then you allow the good stuff in too. You allow the awareness that's going to make your life easier. Way, way, way easier. When I bought a new washing machine, I called the repairman in and I said to him, and we've used him before, so I trust him implicitly. And we had an old Kenmore, and I say, what am I going to buy? Maytag? He goes, oh no. I mean, no? He goes, an LG. I said, an LG? Are you sure? He goes, yeah. So off we go to Home Depot because I'm looking at pricing, and they got the best pricing. And I say, the woman, Maytag or LG? She goes, LG. I didn't think twice about it. I got twice. I didn't think twice because I got the same answer twice. And I'd also gone on the internet and looked. So my husband and my brother who had come to visit were off wandering around Home Depot for whatever, and they found me and they went, so, like, have you looked at it? I said, oh, I bought it, because it was like that, bang, done. And it was easy. It was easy. It got delivered. The old one got taken away. And it was easy peasy. Lovely young men that delivered it, that set it up. So, in the flow, in the flow. You want to be in the flow. So, if you watch this somewhere, uh, share your stories of being in the flow because people need to know that you can be in the flow. It's important. So, that's bust out of your cocoon. Stop protecting yourself so much. It's just energy. It can't hurt you. It's just energy. It's information that says, oh, well, maybe I need to go a different way. Maybe I need to exit this situation. Um, maybe I need to go here to buy that thing. Maybe I need to go there to get the best price. It's just the energy is information in varying degrees. So, um, and when you rise your when your vibration rises, when you're through meditation, through the things that make you happy and joyous and blah blah blah, um, it's like the radio station is getting tuned to a different channel. So you're tuning to a different channel, and you're opening up yourself to more energy. So if you're feeling the energy, like really, you should be giving yourself a pat on the back. Really, you should. And if it freaks you out, you maybe want to just stop and go, why is this freaking me out so much? Maybe because you've not been told that it's okay. The energies are just energies. And you can feel the energies that are coming into the planet that are trying to upgrade us will physically make you feel ugh, right? But the energies you may be reading out in the mall or in conversation with a friend, that's information. That's information. Don't shut yourself off from that. Okay. Second card is retreat, which is interesting. Um, so retreat was actually upside down. So it's saying don't retreat. Oh, thank you, because I don't like to read upside down cards. Um, and they're like, read it. What's it up? It was upside down. They're telling me what is the opposite of retreat. It's like don't retreat. So thank you guys. See, I learned something all the time. Don't retreat. Don't retreat from life. Do not. Retreating from life is like, I was telling my brother that sometimes I've spent, when we had the dog, my husband was away on business, and I said, I would get up, I'd walk the dog, and then come back and go back to bed. And when I get up and walk the dog and come back and go to bed, he goes, that sounds like depression, Linda. And I'm like, that's interesting. Because that's my whole life, I've been a big napper. And and because I doze off and I get into this kind of dream state, and it's kind of interesting. Really, it is. It's almost entertainment for me. And that's what kept me in bed longer this morning. It was like all these kind of interesting dreams. And, I'd be kind of trying to sort them out. Did I write them down? No, I didn't. But as I'm lying thinking about it and looking at the tree, this big sequoia tree out my bedroom window, I doze off again, and so it continues. I get another bits of stuff. So I've been like that my whole life. Is that I'm not depressed right now at all, but when I was younger, was I perhaps? So interesting. My brother would go, depression, Linda. Um, he would have been right in many ways at some points in my life, definitely. And other times it's just entertainment because it was raining all day. There was no sun. You're like, ugh. I'll go out in some rain. I will, because we've had very light rain. So this card is saying, do not retreat. Have a respite. Thank you, guys. Have a respite, which is not the same as retreating. That's just taking a moment for yourself. So yeah, technically you're retreating for a little bit. Take a moment for yourself. Do the things that will fill you up. And I tell you this all the time, fill you up and raise your energy, right? Do the things that make you happy. So take a little respite, but do not retreat from life because we're on planet for a reason. No sense to retreat. And then this card, quietly serve. Now this was upside down as well. So guys, what quietly serve, and it was upside down. The opposite of that would be what? I'm hearing get out there and serve. Get out there and serve. So I guess this is the time of year when you can do that, when you can, I'm hearing physically do some things, right? Physically take that extra care, hold the doors open, put some money in the Salvation Army box, um, clear out things you don't need anymore, take them to homeless shelters, um, volunteer in different, so not so quiet, not so quiet. Physically go out and take action out in the world. It's by taking action. Thank you. By taking action, you're literally saying to the world, I see. I'm thinking because I hear that and I'm like, okay, what? I see, I see the need. I see the humanity. I see the kindness that needs to be shared. And when I see that and I act upon that physically, then I am showing other people that there is kindness and love to be had, that they are not alone in their sadness, they are not alone in their need, and that whatever is going on in their life, in their life is a moment in time, and it can change very quickly. It can change in an instant. And so what you do, what I do, you physically do things, you're showing them that things can change like that. So when you feel the urge, because you've busted out of your cocoon and you're aware of the energies out there, you will know, I will give this homeless person money. Don't second guess it. Just do it. Don't second guess yourself at all. Because there's a reason your awareness is showing you that person, urging you to do that. You could be the one that makes a difference in their day. You don't need to know how it's going to be spent. You don't need to know much unless you care to sit down with them and ask them about their life. And that's a whole other story. But for now, follow, and maybe that's an urge. Maybe you want to do that as well as. So physically serve. Physically serve. It's important right now because the actions, those physical actions, underpin, thank you, underpin the beingness that you are, right? They underpin everything. That you're willing to act upon that. And the universe sees that. Ah, willing to do that. Heard me. Um, so now we've got communication going on. And energies are just information, right? And working with your spirit guides, they work with you energetically. Especially if you've not been trained to pay attention to those, to words, to thought forms, to hearing. And I get thought forms dropped in, and sometimes hearing and sometimes visual. So then they are forced to convey through more subtle methods, through the energies, with the information that you are tasked with sorting through. What is right for you? What does that energy mean? What does that mean to me? Great question to ask. What does that mean to me? Give it to me in another way I can tell. Give me a sign that I'm on the right track here, right? Like the hand mixer, which worked brilliantly, by the way. Hand mixer on the shelf. They're like, yeah, go ahead. So that is from Soul Path. And I will pull a couple from my very first deck, the Angels deck. And the woman that developed these cards, Doreen Virtue, is not doing this anymore because she became Christian. And for whatever reason decided that this was not her path anymore. But meanwhile, I've had these cards for many, many years. And I like them because they've got one word on them. And so then I just kind of riff off that one word. And I like the energies in this deck. But I always, when I do use cards, when I do this, I have an intention. And my intention is the highest and best for everyone, including me. Okay, see, can't shuffle worth a damn. So, number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay, 1. Playfulness. Well, since we are entering the Christmas season, playfulness is pretty important. Children are getting excited about this, so be playful. Step into your world with a playful energy about everything, right? When you have that energy of playfulness around you, then people are willing to play with you, and it encourages them to be playful. So, as much as I can delve into different topics that aren't or seemingly serious, I still want to be playful about things, because my knowing is that everything, right or wrong, I don't know, is that everything's going to work out the way it should. And it must do. You know, I've got a granddaughter and a grandson, and like all these kids are coming onto the planet. They came in for this ride. I didn't come in to have it go backwards, because there's no going back. There is no going back. I mean, people that think it should be like it was then, there's no going back. So we have to move forward. And how do we move forward is the question. How do we move forward to that better answer? Because that better answer is not necessarily found back. Unless, geez, they just love throwing stuff at me. Unless it comes to farming and some of the old ways of farming, then yeah, that's a better answer. So, but going back in terms of the way, taking away human rights, no. Taking away some social supports, no. It's like, you see where I'm going with that. So, how did I get onto that topic? So, despite all that, I am trusting that it's all going to be okay. I'm trusting in you and the people around you that are going to believe this to whatever degree. Maybe it's just 80%. 80% is good. Maybe it's 50%. 50% is not so bad either. Creating the tipping point. Create the tipping point. Nature. Who doesn't like nature? I love nature. And that's my favorite place to go, is out in nature for a walk, even when it's mucky. And even when it's not rain, even when it's raining, though I prefer no rain. So nature is there to help us. And nature can be found in so many different places. So get out in nature. Find that spot somewhere that just makes you take a big deep breath, a sigh of like, and nature has information for you too, if you want to ask. The trees can talk to you, the plants can talk to you, everything's got some information for you, right? Okay, and the last card, study. Okay, thank you. So it's basically kind of what I do sometimes. It's like I read some information and I mem, and I'm like, well, first off, I trust when I go looking to see, is this true? For instance, I saw a little mem, and it was from someone had written about it, that because of climate change, that there are mosquitoes in Finland for the first time. Well, it's just not true. I mean, Finland's always had mosquitoes in the summer. And what they have is a different type of mosquito than they've had before. Bitumen. Elizabeth May was talking about, did a little video about bitumen, which is a tar, and then they add stuff to it to make it liquid, to put it through the pipeline that goes down to the States, to refineries that have the ability to refine that bitumen, we don't have refineries in Canada to refine that bitumen. And then it will get shipped back to Canada. It's just, so then I ask more questions. Well, why does it she want to ship it to Asia, right? Well, because Asians want that, because they've got refineries that can refine that bitumen. And then I ask another question. I'm like, oh, do I have more? I have more clarity. Do I have a? Have I figured it out yet? What I want to know? I don't know that I have. Um, I don't know that I have. I do know that it's more complex than I can fathom in this moment. I would need to sit down with someone who has more information than I do. And even then, at some point, my brain may go, huh, yeah, that's interesting. Okay, I'm done now. Because I'm curious about stuff, but I'm not curious and like I'm not totally invested in it to want to know all the ins and outs of it. I just curious enough and invested enough to get a broad picture and then know that I don't have the ability to discern other than the fact that we don't want that bitumen in its yucky state. They have to add stuff to make it liquid, and it still doesn't clean up like oil does, right? So living in BC, you're like, huh, do we want those tankers heading out? So it's different than the Alaskan tankers coming down the open ocean, the west side of Vancouver Island. They are taking oil. They're not taking bitumen, which is got forever stuff in it, forever chemicals in it. So stuff you find out, and that people in the East wonder why people in BC are not wanting this and that. That's why. So there's all sorts of stuff that you can dig into. Um, just get curious about stuff. Don't, if you get the little hit, a little nudge that says, maybe you want to check into that before you share it, which is what I do. And then I take stuff down. If I've been mistaken, which I have been a couple of times, I go back to that post and I delete it, put it in trash. Thank you very much, people, whoever, gave me that, told me it wasn't true. Um, Brilliant. That's what we do for each other, right? And they all do it in a kind way because I'm kind. I hope. So that's all. That's all today. That's too long for many people. See, so maybe I'll drip through this and whatever. Take care, everyone. Take good care of yourselves and fill yourself up with joy. And don't get too wrapped up in the consumerism of Christmas. Really, it's all about family and friends. If you don't have family around you, you have friends that are family. And if you don't have friends that are family, then go out there and surf physically with people that don't have family around them. Like, that will make you feel heart-warmed as well. Okay, love you all. And if you have any comments or feedback on this, I would love to know it. And I'd love you to share um, your moments of when you were in the flow and things went your way because you followed the cues. Okay, take care. Bye.